All right. As was said, my name is Justin Danhof, and I'm General Counsel with the National Center for Public Policy Research. We're a free market think tank and a Google shareholder. Thank you for allowing me to present this proposal. We urge fellow shareholders to vote for our proposal, calling for the company to disclose the investments of board members that could reasonably be viewed as a conflict of interest and to report any violations of Google's Code of Conduct policy. As shareholders, we support transparency and accountability regarding the company's board of directors. Absent such a system, company assets could be wasted on objectives not in Google's best interests. Google's current disclosure is insufficient to ensure that the board acts in the best interest of shareholders. We are specifically concerned that shareholder money is being used to personally benefit a member of the board in violation of Google's conflict of interest policy. Google board member John Doerr has a long history in alternative energy and is heavily invested in alternative energy. Doerr is a partner at Kleiner Perkins Caulfield & Byers, a venture capital firm with a green energy focus. Doerr is also a member of President Obama's Economic Recovery Advisory Board, and President Obama's stimulus bill allocated $80 billion for clean energy. In California, Doerr has been a leader and very active in the cap-and-trade movement. All of Mr. Doerr's actions standing alone are above bar and some would even say laudable. However, recently Google has jumped into the alternative energy marketplace, and some of the company's investments raise ethical questions. In recent years, Google has invested millions of shareholder dollars in wind and other alternative energy projects. These ventures are risky and not in line with Google's core business. A 2009 GigaOM news report disclosed that Alterac, which is a small geothermal company, received significant investments from both Doerr's firm and Google. This gives the impression that Google is using shareholder money to boot the investments of one of its board members. Perhaps that is not the case. However, without transparency, shareholders are left to believe either that Doerr is pulling the strings on Google's green energy investments for his own benefit, or that Google is bailing out one of its own. As a board member, Doerr has a fiduciary duty to Google shareholders, not to his own wallet. Google shareholders have a right to know if Doerr's actions breach the company's Code of Conduct policy. The Code of Conduct policy specifically includes conflict of interest that relate to financial conflicts involving personal investments. If they have nothing to hide and Doerr's motives are pure, why would the board of directors recommend a vote against this proposal? The disclosure we are requesting may also shed light on Google's curious investments in green energy. Alternative energy investments are speculative, and Google should not use shareholder money to bail out Doerr's risky moves or follow his wide-eyed supposition. Mr. Doerr should be personally commended for his previous investments in Amazon and Google. However, your company and Amazon compete in the marketplace. Green energy companies do not. Without strong government subsidies and renewable energy standards, green energy companies would go under. Google should focus on its core technology and internet business and not risk shareholder value in the volatile energy markets. In closing, nothing truly worthwhile hides in the dark. I hope my fellow shareholders join me in voting for transparency and that Google's leadership sees the light and decides to be honest with the company's true owners, the shareholders. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Danhof.